Man, I hope your head is on a swivel. Man, there is so much goes on within the gambling world. I always tell people you don't need to gamble, or I guess if you're talking about the gambling industry or if we're talking about prediction markets, none of it's gambling. The prediction market says it's not gambling. They do not have to be regulated. They have to go through a security exchange. The gambling industry says that gambling is entertainment. It's just like going to the movies or bowling. It's amazing how no one labels gambling as gambling. To me, it's all gamble. If there's an outcome, whether you win or you lose and there's money on it, it's gambling. Same thing. You can possibly say certain things in the stock market, like if you actually put money into an index fund and just let it sit, that's an investment. I agree. That can be an investment. But for the most part, everything, if you're doing options, crypto, all that, that's all gambling. Let's take a look at what's been happening in the gambling world. First off, we have ESPN dropped Penn Entertainment, and now their sports book is being run by Draftkings. Now, Draftkings is now the official sports book for ESPN. You still can see ESPN Bet, somewhere. It's actually on, certain major sports league stadiums, whether it's in the outfield wall, like in Pittsburgh, PNC Park. There's a lot of other ways to see how this merger is going to work. You see, everyone wants to be the big bookie. Everyone is so desperate to get all this gambling money because they think that the general public, me and you, are so dumb that we're going to keep throwing money. It's amazing how many people want to believe that the industry is going to tell us how to be healthy with this stupid, responsible gambling that is a farce, that is only designed for legal liability. What else is happening? Well, last week, Kalshi raised $1 billion from an $11 billion valuation, merged with CNN. So now when you turn on CNN, they're going to have the Kalshi brand. Now, who is Kalshi? Kalshi is a prediction market company. So I'm going to be coming to you at all different things. We're talking about casinos, sports books, prediction markets, anything, especially when it involves sports, and it involves actually casinos, it involves any other types of prediction. So now Kalshi and CNN are going to be working together because CNN wants to utilize Kalshi, I'm assuming, when they start doing election predictions. You're going to see the Kalshi brand splintered all over. Now, of course, that's a little different because now you have other industries trying to get into the prediction market. See, let's go back to a little history. The American Gaming Association, which was designed for the U.S. casinos and the tribal casinos back in 1994, they were formed. They wanted to promote and regulate gambling. Obviously, 1994 was really, the nascent. Certain states were building casinos, and so they kind of got together to build this up. Of course, now in November 2025, DraftKings and FanDuel no longer want to be a part of the American Gaming Association because the American Association is very specific. They do not want anybody who actually has some type of part of their business model into the prediction market. And FanDuel and DraftKings have their own entity now. They are no longer just a fantasy sports. They're no longer a sports book. They're no longer doing all this other type of gaming. They believe that prediction market is part of another arm of their group. So you're going to have FanDuel predicts, Draftkings predictions. So they're actively moving ahead. They originally had different deals with different prediction market companies. Kalshi already had signed up with the NHL, the National Hockey League. I mean, they just cannot stumble over each other, just dying to get your next bet, trying to speed up the bet, trying to hit all kinds of demographics, the people who like sports books, like former athletes, the people who like prediction markets, the people who like mobile casinos. It's all kind of getting squared away and pushed into one. Like I said, we had the newest state take in sports betting, Missouri, last week on December 1st, 2025, where it's now open season to bet in Missouri, even though it passed in November 24. Took a while to get through all the gaming legislation as well as the regulatory on how Missouri wanted to handle it. What else is kind of going on? I mean, it's like 1,000 things going on. Major League Sports League now all of a sudden is going to try to limit on how many different pitches you can actually bet on in live pitching because they saw some type of irregularities. You got all the abuse, like at least 60% of NCAA athletes are getting harassed by bettors after they lose some type of stupid prop bet where they went over or under, up or down. You think that's a healthy industry where where the actual gamblers are now abusing college athletes because they lost a bet? Is no different, what happens on the pro side. But the pro side, those guys usually have different types of, especially the big players, they have teams that can handle and divert some of the BS that doesn't touch them. But the college athletes, they're a lot closer to the action. So you have all this going on in the gambling world. I always say, if they really cared about the integrity, because that's their big word, integrity. We care about the integrity of gambling, and that's why we are regulated. No, you are regulated because that is the way to try to make this legal drug dealing available to you. And I will always use that analogy. Gambling and drug dealing are the same thing. Whether you're a casino, whether you're a sports book, whether you're a prediction market, it is all a drug. Gambling hits the brain like the cocaine hits the brain. You are no different than drug dealers, but you even have a much more addictive product. That's what's amazing. You have a much more addictive product. I mean, there's just a lot going on. So I want people to remain vigilant. Man, there's no need to actually put this poison into your bloodstream because 99% of all gamblers lose. That's a fact. Do you ever wonder why casinos always assume that a player is cheating if they win big? Isn't that kind of just sad? You would think that if they had some integrity, they would just pay out and not do an investigation and find out how someone won big, whether on a craps table or blackjack, or how they had this big run and they just happen to just get the luck for that day. But it just shows you that the casinos, the sports books, all these corporations assume you are going to lose. That's why they're getting into the game, because they see you as a mark. You're a Vic. You are easy money. The lure of easy money for these guys is insatiable. They will not stop till they take all your money. So don't do it. Remember, life is wonderful. Recovery is beautiful. Your EQ is your IQ. You cannot outthink an emotional issue. The Recovery Freedom Circle. We're just coming here with just a lot of excellent information on just how you can live your best life, fulfill all your dreams and goals without gambling. It is there for the taking. So you can always be on top. with that, we're going to end this quick little episode on the 1% in Recovery podcast.